maybe a very
I still don't think hacking should be a minigame. I think hacking should have, so the hacking minigame would make a lot more sense as because it's like, okay, soapbox time. Soapbox time. The way that they're doing hacking is bad. It's bad gameplay. It's bad design. It's more of like an afterthought than it is an actual immersive experience. It feels like they're just trying to get it done because they need to get it done rather than actually mattering. And so they're trying to staple on something because they've seen it in another game, sort of thing. One of the problems with hacking in all games is that hacking feels very gamey. It doesn't feel very immersive. And I know hacking actually sucks ass. Anybody who's an actual hacker knows that it requires hours and hours of time, or a lot of times just social engineering to be able to get what you need to do. It's not really shouldn't really be a thing. My belief is that what they should have is a dedicated hacking tool, which works with a classic sci-fi cyberpunk trope of decks, where you have programs which you can run at different times. And the minigame is focused more around looking at code and maybe even color matching code for some of the earlier ones. And all you need is a certain small number of programs that you can run on your Mobaglass or on your specific hacking tool that you go through and kind of stuff like that. So that you have those programs you can run. But the other option is not having to use those little programs, but being able to see the code and know where, like the details upon that code of where the weaknesses are. Something that feels like it's realistic without it being gamey, you know? No, because Mass Effect has like way too many, is way too gamey. What I mean is, like, say you have a cascading code line, right? Or you're looking through a code and you're looking for specific like names or specific colors. Or maybe there's a scanning option. Once you have the code line down, you scan and you look at those, it kind of analyzes the code for a few moments, and then it highlights a certain number of things on that code line, and it's just like yellow, red, green, blue, and you just have to hit the right combination of which one's first, second, third, or fourth, and they let you get in. You want something that's more, that feels like it's there rather than it's just being a game. Does that make sense? Yeah, but you don't want it to be like Fallout is pretty close to what I was thinking about, but you know, you'd use programming language, Steve. You'd use a simple programming language. Missed the invite. Or have to learn a programming language where you have to learn Banu in order to read it. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you did it in like C++ or some other thing, you could easily have random gibberish and then figure out if basically have it. And the point of being is, like, if there's a way that you can do it so that a player who understands what they're looking at can do it without the code, without the gamification, can still figure it out and fix the problem, but also have the gamification, which takes time and effort, or time and some basic knowledge, would improve the gameplay, because that would feel very much more like immersive. If you know, oh, this is the code for security, this is the code for like firewall, and yeah, there'd be tutorials up there as well, but you just have to change up the some of the wording, stuff like that. Or you can do it in binary. Yeah, that would work too. Like, it doesn't really matter as long as you had some sort of tool that would make it easier. Or obviously having a tool to do it in the first place would make sense, but having a tool that has systems that makes it easier but takes more time versus someone who is skilled at that event. Because right now what they have is Pac-Man. That's what hacking is now. It's Pac-Man. Star Citizen's always been about game about being prepared. If you want cyberdecks with limited uses, prepared one-time codes, mini games should be for crafting for specific payload for your performance. Makes a tier. If you have a door hacking code prepared, well, guess you're blowing up the door instead. Stuff like that. That's what I mean. Like if you look at it and you have a hack code, you have like a tool that has 3 different programs on it, and you find a door that's like, fuck, I need a 4th program and I don't have it. Well, kick the door open. That kind of thing. You know. Yeah, it's Pac-Man hacking. That's the reason why I'm like, it sucks. Let me pull open. This is hacking. Now, obviously, this is an early version of it, but it's Pac-Man. It's a maze. It's maze.
Our game to actually be able to play.
Well, the different ones spawn
still
more
a game.
ghosts. Yeah.
We are a simulation-driven game, so we want to tailor to that. But yeah, we really want.
I want a space game, not a life simulation. But I mean, what I just said is something that is easy enough for you to figure it out if you have the right tools for the job, but also allow for players who really get really good at it to be able to use it without those tools. Yeah, that works. If I had to make a hacking gameplay, I'd have it make like a code injection where you actually have to remove parts of the code computer to hijack it and inject codes it would make would buy at places like Grimhex. That's effectively what I'm talking about. Something where you have a program which could do different aspects or control different things. So yeah. By the way, when I'm saying hacking, I'm saying mostly like PvE hacking. We're talking about PvP hacking. There definitely needs to be something more than just Pac-Man.
Well.
Or the hate towards Pac-Man, because when I think Pac-Man, I don't think hacking. You know? The mini game for health, for healing people shouldn't be you know, based off of asteroids. Because that's stupid. Like, it's the same kind of idea. Oh, well, we have Pac-Man. What part of Pac-Man and hacking fix the same time? It's a problem that's not just CIG based. It's a problem that a lot of games do wrong when they have hacking. The hacking is more about like they try to do a mini game to make it engaging, but it's more about, hey, you're doing this instead of your game, and it feels like it just feels off. It doesn't feel right. Of course not, dude. It needs to be TikTok. Oh.
Like, especially content would just kill us if we would just say by
Hacknet is too complex, but you could easily take, just like Hardspace Shipbreaker is too complex for Star Citizen Salvage. They've still taken a lot of elements from Hardspace Shipbreaker just by accident, like hole munching and removing components and all that kind of stuff. That's all part of the same kind of loop as you'd have in Hardspace Shipbreaker. You have to pull out certain components and pieces first, and then you know, like rip off the exterior hull plating, and then you kind of like sort everything right properly. Same concept. And they use just cutting beams and tractor beams. That's all they use. So I just what I'm thinking about when I talk about like why I don't like the direction that hacking gameplay is going into is that it doesn't match up with the gameplay style that CIG's been pushing for the longest time, which is players can learn to be really good at a topic, and if they are good at the topic, then they can do it better without the handholds, but they still have handholds for players to use if they don't know what they're doing. So some way of making it easier for players who are just starting to access that gameplay loop, but not so stupid and not so dumbed down that like everyone can use it and it's the only way you can use it. It needs to have layers and levels, and I don't think a 3D puzzle game, a 3D maze puzzle game is the answer. I don't think Pac-Man Evolved is the answer to that problem, though. So
I'm one of you. Let's see. With ship life support, will opening doors automatically cycle airlocks to minimize wasted oxygen in the atmosphere?
Yes.
No.
No?
Yeah. Like if there's an airlock, airlocks work like an airlock is supposed to work. They will actually cycle in. probably ideally in a smart way. If there's good air outside and good air inside, no need. Airlocks work.
In an atmosphere. Opening doors automatically cycle airlocks to minimize wasted oxygen in the atmosphere.
So your cycling won't work in atmosphere? Is that what it's saying? That's what I gather, is that the whole idea of like when you open your door in an airlock and you close it and you cycle it and you open the other door. No, I said it did work. He said no.
No.
He says no.
Like if there's an airlock, airlocks work like an airlock is supposed to work. They will actually cycle in, probably ideally in a smart way. If there's good air outside and good air inside, no need to cycle. But in most cases, the airlock will behave as a real-world airlock suit. On the other side, if you open the door of, let's say, you open the cargo bay of an H2 while you're in space, well, there goes your air.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, not all ships are ideal for all scenarios. Some of them are, have these EVA suit lockers, and they have these double airlocks, and
But we should be able to cycle out the air in those sections of the ship, though, right? For storage. So like depressurize portion of the ship, so that say a fire happens,